All right, excellent afternoon to all those who are watching me across the states in Nigeria. They said the thin line between what the society sees as good and what it sees as vice is not just thin, but rather vast, because the dynamics of our time is rather changing when it comes to, or would I say, when it's considered good and what is considered good and what is considered bad. And the societal acceptance for what was bad yesterday is now a subject of debate today. Again, I welcome you to another interesting episode of Real Talk with Kike. I think it's important for us to quickly go on a quick break, and when I return, I'll give I will welcome you properly. Stay with me, I'll be right back. All right, many thanks for staying with me. I apologize on that quick break. I needed to quickly sort something out behind the cameras. That's the work of an executive producer trying to find a balance to everything. But quickly, with on this day in history segment that have been played, I say yes because ECOMOG's intervention in Sierra Leone's civil war marked a turning point in regional security in Nigeria. And I just feel that providing the largest contingent of troops and that played a decisive role in restoring stability. Truly, the initiative strengthened Nigerian influence with ECOWAS and beyond. So the question is, do we still hold that regional influence at the moment? I think that is the thought I'm leaving in the minds of our listeners. And on this note, I think it's important for us to go on a quick break. And when I return, we'll dive straight to the topic at hand. Stay with me. I'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. Before we go further to the main topic at hand, I want to make a quick shout out to Jokpelo Akisanya. She's like a daughter to me, and I want to use this opportunity to just say happy birthday, my girl, as you attain a new age today, or yesterday rather. Yesterday was a birthday, so I said I was going to do shout out for her on the platform today. May your path be successful and filled with glory. Aging gracefully comes with wisdom. You have been blessed with intellect and brilliance as reflected in your academics alongside your brother. So I want you to continue to shine forth. Many thanks, many happy returns. My beautiful Jokpelo, of course, she's beautiful alongside the brilliance. So I just wish you the very best as you continue to forge ahead in your career path. And kudos to mom and dad for doing a fantastic job on you and your brother. I think it's important for us to take a quick break, and when I return, we'll dive straight down to the topic at hand, and you'll be listening to my guest. Stay with me. I'll be right back. Again, welcome to Real Talk with Kike, where I tackle the issues that matters most to our society. Today's topic is one that cuts across generations when it comes to socio-economic boundaries and the future of our youth in terms of gambling awareness. Did you know that in Nigeria alone, over 12,000 people are currently struggling with gambling addiction, while an alarming 2.8 to 3 million others are at risk of developing one? These are part of the research that I made yesterday. And even more concerning is the fact that children as young as 11 years old are engaging in gambling activities daily, with fewer than 1% of people, gamblers receiving treatment. It's clear that this is a growing public health crisis that demands our urgent attention, and this conversation will cut across the social economic factors, fueling gambling in Nigeria, the psychological part of it, the financial impact on individuals and families, and the glaring, let's say, gaps in regulation and support systems. So on the live show today, I have a guest who will help us unpack these critical issues, share insight on the challenges, and of course, highlight solutions to addressing gambling-related harms effectively. On my platform, I like not only for me to just talk about these challenges, but to provide solutions. Hence the reason why my guest is here today. But I think before we dive further, it's important for us to play his profile. And when you return, you agree with me that he's the right person to touch on this story. Stay with me. I'll be right back. All right, welcome to the show, Ladipo, Akolade, or Akolade rather. Sorry, I apologize. I must say he's the founder of Gamble Pause Initiative, and it's a pleasure to have you on Real Talk with Kike today. And let's just dive straight into the topic at that, because I know that at the moment, we've run out of time, and I want you to speak to the responsibility of gambling. And the first question for me is that, how is gambling even as in, why will any responsible person, want to gamble? I'm paused about the term responsible gambling when I saw your resume and the other things that you've been doing, and I'm wondering about the gambling from a moral perspective. Why should the youth of today even gamble in the first place? I think that's the question we should be talking about first, in terms of the responsibility that comes with it.
Okay, so as you spoke about gambling in itself, gambling in itself was set up for as a form of entertainment, and it was set up for just entertainment purpose, basically. And that's why while there were setting up strategies as regards gambling, they actually made provision for responsible gambling. Gambling in itself, it's very beneficial to the economy in terms of direct taxes that the operators pay to the government, also in terms of job creation, in terms of employment and job creation to the economy in itself. it's very beneficial to the economy. So gambling in itself adds its huge advantages to the economy. Also, in terms of technological innovations, they've come up with so many incentives and so many strategies and policies that would help the industry achieve a very effective strategy and policy while carrying out the operative part of gambling. A lot of people feel like it's irresponsible to gamble, but I feel like it was set up for entertainment. But the problem is that a lot of people don't know the risk associated
abused
with gambling. A lot of people don't know a lot of players don't know the things to put in place or the things to be aware of while they are involved in gambling. And what are the things to be aware of? As a player, one of the major things you should be aware of is gamble awareness. The fact that it could be addictive, you understand, and also setting your limits. You understand? When you want to gamble, part of the responsible ways to gamble is by setting your limits and just striking out or lighting a particular amount you're going to gamble. That way you're not going to exceed your limits, and if you exceed it, that is it. And also that is not even a form of income, because a lot of people delve into gambling because they want to make money. Because
of the revenue. We keep it real on this platform. You know, but you've been sharing a lot at the moment, but let me quickly interrupt you, because if your organization sees it to the importance of ensuring that our youth, you know, make sure that, you know, gambling comes with responsibility. How do we ensure that the ones that gamble are doing it responsibly now? And with the fact that technology is tracking down their daily consumption of the timing that they spend with gambling addiction, because earlier you are talking about the awareness of gambling and the addiction it comes with in almost every street in Lagos. Let's be real here. You know, research shows that the average street, you know, you find a church, you find a mosque, you find also a couple of bet centers, so to speak. So the role of governments, you know, in terms of regulation, I feel is key, and the roles of organization like yours. Do you think the government is doing enough, you know, in terms of regulating gambling companies, you know, and protecting the vulnerable populations? Because some of them actually do not even understand the in-depth of their acts or their actions. So how do we move forward in terms of, you know, focusing on the revenue that you touched on earlier regarding the betting company that I think is being taxed,
yeah,
right?
Taxes, yeah.
Fantastic. So I want you to speak to that.
Okay, so firstly, I would even talk about what we are doing at Gamble Pulse,
okay,
to tackle this issue in the society. Gamble Pulse is a non-profit organization focusing on responsible gambling, and what we do basically is promote gamble awareness, advocates against underage gambling, and also provide support and treatment to gamble addicts. So that's what we are doing at Gamble Pulse Initiative Africa. And the reason why we are doing this is because there's currently a major problem in the country where we have so many people gambling, and now there's no restriction. And the reason why there's no restriction is because as opposed to 10 years ago when I placed my first bet, I had to go to a betting store in Ojuelegba to place a bet. Now we have it on our phones. You can download an application. Is now technology has come into play. So that means that there's no restriction. That also means that we are going to have a lot of underage players come on board. Do you understand? So that is a problem, and that's why we came up with Gamble Pulse, to see how we can tackle this problem by creating gamble awareness, going to schools, educate people, educate the young ones about the risk associated to gambling at the early stage. Then also moving up to the universities, because universities we have people above 18, because by law you shouldn't gamble if you're below 18, and that's why we are saying no to underage gambling. And we're moving to university to speak to the university students and speak to them and tell them that, guys, you know what, if at all you're going to get yourself involved in gambling, you have to be aware of the signs associated with gambling. You also have to highlight the signs of gambling addiction, because a lot of people don't even know they're struggling with gambling addiction. So those are the things that we are going to teach them. As regards the government, I feel like they are not doing enough.
Okay.
There's still more that can be done. And the interesting thing is that we are getting there, because we as an organization, we got funding from the Director General of National Lottery Regulatory Commission, Mr. Larry Bajamiamila. He made some fundings to my organizations to promote responsible gambling, and that was quite interesting. Was not even about the funds itself, but the recognition made. That means that for someone on that level to be part of this scheme, it's just encourage other people benefiting from this industry to involve themselves in promoting responsible gambling. So it's just about putting certain policies in place, which I feel like a lot of things are going to come into play very soon, because we are hearing a lot of issues about gambling. We've started hearing issues where people are suicidal because of their gambling addiction. We've started hearing stories about husbands, families, strained relationships because of gambling addiction. And we started hearing suicides in underage people because of gambling addiction. So I feel like there are certain things cooking up in terms of the policy making, and I believe that the government and the regulatory bodies are going to look into this in no time.
All right, many thanks for that elaborate submission, and I feel that I need to bring in Mr. Larry Bajamiamila, because he has, he has featured on this platform a couple of times, and is one of the friend of the house. But with all that you've shared thus far, we cannot take away the fact that social media and celebrities often promote betting platform as a means of quick wealth. Hence the reason why you see that quite a number of people are involved in it. So how can we counter the narrative and protect that impersonable young Nigerians from falling into gambling traps? Because with the increasing accessibility of mobile apps and online betting platforms, how has technology, because everything you are doing, I believe that it should be technology driven, how has technology contributed to the gambling surge in Nigeria, particularly amongst the youth? I like the fact that you emphasized earlier that you go to schools, to catch them young, to educate them, to create awareness on it. But thus far, what has been the results that you've received?
Okay, so what we are doing basically is new to the country. On our own level, we have just very few organizations promoting responsible gambling. It hasn't been easy, because I feel like we still have so much to do in terms of research. We need to know who exactly is going through this level of addiction, and research is the only way. Like proper research, proper collation of data is the only way we can really get good data and good research, and that would help us measure our performance so far. But so far, I think we are doing good. We are having high numbers of people calling in for support, and that has been as a result of our awareness. A lot of people are calling, not even only in Nigeria, across Africa.
Why is it support? Are they calling to request for financial support, or to say, help us, we are addicted to these challenges and we want to find a moderation? What kind of support did they seek out for?
Okay, so as I said earlier, we render support and treatment, and the support and treatment we render is counseling and therapist treatment and sessions. So when they call in, we have clinical psychologists on our team, and we render support to them and ensure that we go through the process with them. And it's quite interesting and very effective, because we follow through the whole process till the end of the process, where we have to make provision for a situation of relapse, because we figure that a lot of them always have relapse. So we have like a section for that sort of support. So interestingly, as I said, we have people calling in from different parts of Africa, Rwanda, Uganda, and I feel like the awareness we've done on our home part has resulted to people being aware that, oh, there's something like this. Oh, so there's somewhere I can go when I'm struggling with gambling addiction.
All right.
Do you understand?
I hear you, but you know, when it comes to therapy, counseling, and all of that, I feel that it's a bit will be more embraced with the elite, so to speak. If you go back to the other middle class and all of that, it seems as if religion is another way of which I feel they tackle issue. I don't know if you face that, but let's go on. Okay, I think that we've had enough break. Let me use this opportunity to open the phone lines. If you are just tuning in or you are just watching me, I say welcome to another interesting episode of Real Talk with Kike. And I've been having conversation regarding gambling, especially gambling awareness in Nigeria. And earlier I was discussing, or I discussed, the alarming rise of gambling among youths and the significant public health crisis that is present in Nigeria, with over 3 million Nigerians at risk of developing gambling addiction. Now I will shift focus now to the impact of gambling and on families and communities, and the challenges, you know, accessing treatment and addiction, and of course the role of stakeholders, the government, the private sector, the advocacy group in creating solutions. But I must say kudos to you for all that you've been doing thus far.
Thank
you
you,
know, creating awareness on this issue at hand, because I know it cuts across not just the young and also the youth as well. But quickly, let me use this opportunity to open the phone lines. Remember that you can be part of this conversation by calling the studio number 070 68653440. We just changed our number 2 days ago, so I apologize on that. But of course, you can call in and make your contribution on the topic at hand. And of course, we're streaming live on Facebook, on Silverbird Television, not on Real Talk with Kike on Facebook. We have some challenges there as well. But quickly, let me come to you, because with all that you've shared thus far, you know, Nigeria's high unemployment and poverty rates now have been cited as factors driving many to gambling. You know, like I said earlier, we keep you real on this stuff, and I know that someone like you have answers to quite a number of issues that on the table, so that has been perceived as escape, so to speak. Even the adults and the old, who I feel that have also involved in gambling. What are your thoughts with this trend? Because no matter how much we want to talk about the solution, we must talk about the root cause and how to address all these causes from the foundation, so that we can move forward effectively.
Okay, so thank you for the question, and it's going to take us back to the foundation. I always believe, I studied QS in undergrad, and foundation is key in everything, in every project. So that will take me back to the foundation. The foundation of every gambler is where they started and when they started. You find out that a lot of people struggling with gambling addiction started when they were young, and that is the problem. Now, technology has come into play. We have a system that doesn't verify the age of the players.
Yeah. Now,
the onboarding process is so easy and is interesting. That's a plus to the operators. They had to set up a very easy onboarding process just to make their platform easy to access. Do you understand? But the problem now is that there are no age restrictions on the onboarding process. The onboarding process is just going to ask questions like, what's your name? Input your mobile number. How old are you?
Even if they ask you how old are you, would they infuse the real age?
So now that's what they do. That's what the operators here in Nigeria do. Ordinarily, you are meant to move further by asking for an identification, a government-issued ID card to confirm your age. Because by law, you shouldn't be gambling below 18. What are they doing about it? Do you understand? So I feel like that has given access to underage players. We have so many underage players, and that is where it starts from. So now let's go through the process. The underage people have the leverage to be part of the gaming process, and they get involved at 11, 12, 13 because they have all have mobile phones. They all have access to bank accounts. Transactions are seamless now on the betting platforms. You could make payments through the payment gateways that would reflect from your account to the bank account in 1 second, your bank account to the gaming account in 1 second. So that has made it so smooth. So now these players now get involved at 11, 12, 13, at ages 11, 12, and 13. They get involved at that stage. They get involved, they start winning. Now the interesting thing about how enticing the gaming scheme and environment is, you get free money to bet at, you get bonuses when you just start. So that means you don't need money to play when you're starting. So when you start with free money, you get involved, you start playing. That's where the problem starts from. And you see that now there are not a lot of treatment services available to people struggling with gambling in Nigeria.
I think that's where I will come in, because talking about treatment and the fact that you were talking earlier about how this has affected numbers of families, you know, I feel that the gambling addiction often, okay, I apologize, we have a caller on the line, Rosemary. Rosemary, many thanks for calling. What's your contribution on the topic at hand, please? Can you hear me? I'm sorry, I think I have to let Rosemary go. Apologize, you know. Okay, so like I was saying earlier about the gambling addiction that often leads to mental health, you know, family breakdowns, even criminal activities, you know. How should Nigerians now, you know, in terms of healthcare system and community leaders address this broader societal impact? Because no matter how much you want to look at it, we are touching on the grassroots causes. How do we examine all of this moving forward?
So firstly, we need to be, even the family members have to be aware of the gambling addiction. And as I will always say, gambling addiction is invisible. As opposed to alcohol and drugs, it's not something you can tell when someone is struggling with. Because it's a mental issue. So if I don't speak to you about my gambling addiction, the other person I think that might need to speak to you probably be my account officer. So if I don't speak to you in the scheme of things, you never know. Do you understand? That means that you can't tell.
But would there be a shift in the person's character that you can actually pinpoint?
For addiction, anyone struggling with gambling addiction, interestingly, because it's a sickness, that means it's going to exhibit the same symptoms. The person will start to keep to himself a lot, will detach himself from society, start having issues with his family members, incurred so much debt. Also, some of them have now start to neglect their health. It affects the health and also mental health as well.
Interesting. I understand that we have Rosemary back on air. Rosemary, many thanks for calling us back. Are you there?
Yes, I am.
Fantastic. What's your contribution on the topic at hand today?
Okay, so yes, I want to say a big thank you to Mr. Abiyoye, because the issue of gambling really is not something that is always brought to light. I just started listening to the show and I started to understand the in-depth of what it means to be a gambler and how addictive it can be. But then again, I have a question. You know how somebody is down and they know that they can see a therapist? You know, people who are depressed, they know where to go and all of that. For a gambler, who's that person that you can go and meet and say, okay, this is who I need to go and see because this is something that has deep into my system and I want to stop? Who can they meet? What is the helpline? Is there like an organization that is set out open for people like this who are dealing with this gambling addiction and all of that? Just so it is there in the open, it is so obvious. We know you can meet a therapist when you're depressed. Everybody knows. Oh, you need to see a therapist, you need to see this. For gambling, let it be so, like that awareness policy has to be created. Some people need help, but they don't even know where to go to for help. That's it.
For that contribution. Did you hear?
Yeah, I did.
So, and the last statement is some people don't even know where to go to. And I think that that's the reason why I will applaud your organization in terms of the initiative of the Gamble Pause, what's it called, foundation. So now I must ask you, with all that you have shared thus far, how can people, you know, I know that you've emphasized on awareness, but what kind of advocacy can we create further so that people will know where to run to? Some people don't even want to talk to their family members.
Okay, so it will still bring us back to awareness, because a lot of people need to know that we exist. and we are working with a mighty industry. The industry worth billions of dollars. They've pumped billions of dollars into advertisements, into all sort of advertisements, and at the end of a beautiful advert by a betting company, a beautiful and expensive advert with the best footballers, the best actresses. At the end of that advert, all you would see is 18 plus, bet responsibly at the bottom corner in small fonts. Who talks about the people that have lost money? Who talks about, is there an advertisement about someone struggling with gambling and where they can seek help? So that's where organizations like us need to collaborate with financial agencies, operators, the betting operators, and let them know that, you guys, you know what, for us to create more awareness.
Don't you think of institutions like churches and mosques as well?
Yes.
You know, looking at bringing into factor our cultural beliefs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, but also why I'm even tilting towards them is because it should form a part of their corporate social responsibility to the country, because these are cultures that have been adopted in the UK, in the US, where gambling is prominent. So it just makes sense that now we have over 15 betting companies, online betting companies and lottery companies in Nigeria. It just make more sense for them to be part of this scheme and ensure that, okay, yes, we know that we are making money from this. We have people that are calling in that are struggling with this sort of addiction. Let's support NGOs like myself, our NGO, to see how we could further make it more public. Let's create awareness so someone like Rosemary would know about Gamble Pulse initiative, where she knows that she can call, and we run 24 hours helpline, and it's for free, interestingly. So, and it's not a one-off support we are going to render to anybody struggling with gambling. We are going to run several sessions that should include just speaking to a clinical psychologist, where thereafter they are being transferred to a counselor for the completion stage of the support system. So that's it basically. We just need more collaboration with industries. We need more volunteers as well, because what we're doing is for free. So we need people that are passionate about this sort of cause, or people that have had issues, or had people or family members struggle with this sort of cause. So they have insights on what this thing means and how much it can affect a family unit. You can have them on board, come on board. We have so many activities come up. They could be part of the awareness program as well. So you tell a friend to tell a friend that now there's a support system. Most times, a lot of people struggling with gambling go untreated. A lot of people. That's why we have...
Okay, so when you're saying a lot of people, now let's concentrate on these examples of successful programs or initiative in Nigeria or elsewhere that they've kind of or they've adopted to reduce these gambling-related harms and promotes responsible gambling. I like the fact that earlier you were talking about the kind of ads that have been played on air, but in terms of the caution, the caveat there, it's a thin line that, you know, you're not actually helping people. What's the way forward with successful stories that you think that we need to adopt into our own culture?
You know, firstly, I think is research. We just go online. Even myself, we still need to carry out proper and effective research to even know the number of actual people gambling.
What leads to gambling in the first place?
So, as I said earlier, the narrative we have about gambling, what I would call it gaming. Do you understand? What we have about it in Nigeria is, why would anyone even gamble? This guy is is so irresponsible. But we've forgotten that, as I said earlier, it has its huge advantage to the economy. It has its positive impact in the economy. A lot of people don't know about this. I didn't know about it till I delved into this line of service, and I found out that there was so much about it. But the only thing missing from this syndicates, I'll call it, is responsible gambling.
Responsible gambling. All right, many thanks for that. We have Zainab calling from the island. Many thanks, Zainab, for calling. What's your contribution on the topic at hand? Zainab, are you there? Can you hear me?
Yes, I am.
All right, what's your contribution on the topic at hand?
I'd like to direct my questions to him.
Yeah.
He can hear you. Please go ahead. We are pressed for time.
Okay. Yes. Concerning the awareness and the therapy that he says they've been administering, I would like to ask, what is the success rate? Because the gambling thing it has been on the rise. I recently had somebody that gambled with over 50 million naira. I mean, he has a thriving business and he went ahead and used people's funds to gamble, got into trouble with the police and all of that. So for somebody like that, I mean, he has a business, he has a life, and he still went ahead. What is the success rate of your initiative?
Did you get that?
Yeah. Okay, so our success rate is good. If I think that I can, on a scale of 1 to 10, I can say at this point maybe 7.5. Reasons being that we've had clients remarks. So what we do basically in terms of support, which is very key, and we still need to collaborate on that level. But what we do basically is we have a group of psychologists that communicate with the clients when they call in. And now they don't just administer support to them. There's an evaluation form given to them at every phase of their support, the treatment. And that evaluation form is based off getting information as regards the level of addiction that they are currently handling or they are facing at the moment. So that way you'll be able to know what level of support you would have to give to them on the journey. And also on that, based on that evaluation, we also know if there are chances of relapse. That way we can actually envisage a certain level of relapse if there's going to be. But so far, in terms of support, we have very good psychologists on board, and they have been very effective so far.
All right, many thanks for that. Zainab, you just won yourself a carton of Mimi product, and of course, what's it called now? Kellogg's. So please DM me on my Instagram page so that I can know that you're the one. That's for Zainab. So quickly, this will be my last question to you. What role should gambling operators in terms of policymakers, the educators, and the advocacy groups that play in mitigating gambling addiction now? Because I feel that I must bring into fold the collaboration. How can they collaborate effectively to create a safer gaming environment? Since you've said that there's actually nothing wrong in gaming, you use the word gaming, not gambling.
Yeah.
So let's use that. How can people collaborate? And I feel that I'm still taking you back to our environment because of our cultural differences and the fact that we are religious driven. When we find ourselves in challenges, you see us running to mosques or to churches and all of that. We actually don't believe in therapy. That's the honest truth. Or sometimes we have a funny belief that once you tell people that you are in therapy, they'll think that you are not psychologically sound. Okay. So how do you create awareness on that collaboration, and also for people to unlearn certain beliefs?
I will still bring us back to awareness.
Hey, this awareness.
I feel like as Zainab said and Rosalind said, I'm sure this is the first time they're hearing of Gamble Pause initiative. They need to collaborate with that for the operators. They need to collaborate even the government, which the Director General of National Lottery Commission. Mr.
Larry,
yes,
who is doing a fantastic job. I must emphasize, not because he has been on this platform, but because I know how the regulations and the regulatory that they've done thus far in spreading that advocacy across the sector.
Yes, so he has the ball rolling already, and what we need from the operators is, I understand that they are waiting for the government to set certain policies and get certain things going, but on their own level, do you understand? they really need to promote responsible gaming. Now, the interesting thing is that a lot of these operators operate in other countries. They know how things are being done there. Because you've come here to operate, and there are certain things not set. You cannot just say, oh, I want to wait till these things are set, then we'll now take it from there. No, they are young people struggling. Now, I spoke to someone, I spoke to a chief operating officer in one of the betting companies, and he spoke about how they have a responsible support department. And I found that really interesting because they're actually looking out for their players. But now, why we set up organizations like ours was because we want to avoid conflict of interest. Do you understand? We want to be able to get proper data. Now, someone called in and was asking, what's your success rate? Do you understand? I can easily tell her if it's bad or good. Do you understand? But if it's an operator that is handling this part of it, because they have so many things to protect. Do you understand? So they shouldn't be the one handling things like this. We should be the one. So we'll be able to come up with good strategies and ways to administer proper and healthy treatment to people struggling with gambling addiction. So basically, it's just collaborations. Let's spread the awareness. Let's spread the word. A lot of people have never heard about a non-profit organization providing free help to people struggling in gambling addiction. Never heard of it.
Okay, I wish I could ask you the next question, but maybe after this show, I will ask you when you say it's a free help thing. Yeah. You know, sometimes I find it difficult to believe certain things are free and the likes and all of that. But again, I must say many thanks, Ladipo, for all that you've shared thus far. And it's been an interesting time with you, with the awareness that you've created. Hopefully, it will help quite a number of people who are listening to or who are suffering from, you know, the issue at hand. But quickly, before I let you go, there's a last segment of the show that I call Trending Stories. These are stories that binds us as Nigerians, as Africans, and this is where I have an opinion as a host, you know. And the first trending story that caught my attention is that of a British teenager that has been jailed for 1 year in Dubai for having sex with a 17-year-old girl during a holiday romance, you know. And this story trended, I think, a week ago or 2 weeks ago regarding the boy being picked in UAE when his family are on holiday and the girl's families were on holiday. Now verdict has been made, and this matter has a roots, just like my guests today have emphasized, that's Ladipo Akolade, who have emphasized on the root cause. So when we treat matters on air, it is for the sake of enlightenment and societal reformation. I am not here to put anyone under the bus or make people the subject of our conversation today. I'm only trying to reform the society. Hence the reason why I'm also talking about, or I've touched on the topic today, for us to create a lot of awareness. When we make things happen like this, we want to look at the root causes, the parents who constitute of the society, the country itself as a whole. Please and please, whoever is watching me right now, I'm unapologetical Nigerian. I'm African despite my mixed breed, but I am African first. You can call me whatever you like, but my culture, my background, my blood comes first. So now, when we address the matter from the roots, starting from the boy's appearance, guys, if you can pull that up to my technical team, we can see that his hair is plaited and he has a stud in his ears. You know, that tells a lot about parenting for me. Hello, that's how I feel. We keep paying lip service against transgender, homosexuality. We have teenage boys under our watch as parents who are, plaiting their hair. I don't understand. Making what they call it again, all back and the likes and all of that. I'm wondering what kind of boy, what such boys in few years come to claim to say, oh, they want to, they are now transgender into a female. We begin to ask irrelevant questions. Our parenting, I feel, should be questioned even before they become youths and adults. We parents should reflect on this. What kind of upbringing did such a parent give this boy? Let's start from there. Now, the society is not helping, because the boy comes from UK where there's a free mix amongst youths. From a certain age, they can take alcohol, they can have intimacy, they can gamble and do all sorts. But the boy by default thinks that it is acceptable in other countries that he is now convicted of this crime. So I don't know, so that you understand that, I'm African first. Let me give an adage that comes to mind right now, because Yoruba people says that iṣẹ́ ilé ló ń gbé ni síta. What would not, I don't know. I'm struggling now because I'm trying to, curtail my thought process. But guys, however we look at it, when we look at the matter from international perspective and cross-border laws, the law is sacrosanct. Before we travel to any country, know their laws, do their due diligence. Yes, there's bias in every country. I am not disputing that. America will never allow you to try their citizens in another country, but they can try people like Hush Puppy in their own country. And no, I'm not saying what Hush Puppy did is right, but I'm just citing different examples to find a balance on this platform. And to keep it real, they will also want to extradite Abba Kyari for trial. Similarly, UAE will never brand their own citizens for you to make it international jest of them. That's the reason why you see that there's a lot of rules and regulation about their media. So as a traveler, know your limits in other people's countries. Do your due diligence. Countries will use you to their own favors. The same reason why UK has never repatriated the Ziani to Nigeria for the fraud charges that she has created. They will sentence Ekere Madu as a global scapegoat. Let's read in between the lines. We need to tell ourselves the truth. The monies that the Ziani is accused of stealing is benefiting their country. Before traveling, I feel that know the laws, know their regulations, know their rules that is binding all those destinations that you want to go to. Don't there's so many examples that is coming to mind right now. Look at traffic drugs too. You go to Saudi Arabia and go and be doing traffic, you will get death penalty. So there's no crying on social media or social media awareness that you want to create. It's just medicine after death. So nonetheless, I feel pity for the parents. The parents going through a lot of agony at the moment. I remember when this news broke, I was in tears. At the same time, I was comparing my son. I was saying that, I had to start struggling. I was sharing all those links with my son because I'm saying to myself, hello, if your son can be having intimacy at 16, at 17, the boy is now 19, he was 18. The girl was 17, now 18, turned 18. But please, let's ask ourselves, we parents, some real truth questions. How can your son at that age be open to intimacy or sex? This boy, guys, in all of this that I've shared, this boy can never remain the same. I am of the opinion that after that 1 year sentence, he should be supported mentally, psychologically, to fit back into the society. The parents and our society, we have a lot of job to do. We have a lot of work to do. Parents need to establish a firm relationship with their children. Finding balance is key. I know that we are working to pay bills, but we are Africans. We have morals. We have culture. One of the reasons why I've insisted that my children must have their first basic education till high school is because I want to imbibe that morals and culture into them. So all these claims of, people crying all over the place, we are just complaining after, medicine after death. But quickly, what do you have to say to this in 30 seconds? In 30 seconds. They're already running commentary.
Yeah, okay, so it's as you said, we really need, the parents have to do well. The parents have to be in charge in as much as we are trying to create awareness on our own part. The families, the parents, everyone should be on guard. Look out for the younger generation, ensure that they are well guarded, do you understand? And they are mentored properly. We can't just leave them because now there's social media and there's technology out there. So we need to ensure that we are checkmating them, checkmating what they're doing online. We have to keep close monitoring on them. So that's basically, I feel like they need close supervision and proper parenting.
All right, many thanks for your own submission on the topic at hand. Let me quickly touch on this, on the Edo State governor that stammers over budget figures. You know what, this issue, I will take it, whether they want to yank me off or not, but the list I just want to share quickly before they yank us off is the fact that this incident raises questions about the level of preparedness and presentation skills expected from public officials, especially during critical moments like a budget presentation. While everyone can make mistakes under pressure, such as public stumbling over an essential aspect of governance, the state budget could erode confidence in leadership and decision-making ability. So this situation, if you ask me, is even more concerning because the budget represents the roadmap for the state's development, and the leader command over the details, that I feel that should ideally reflect their understanding and the vision and the mission that they bring to forth. Struggling to articulate such figures might suggest either lack of preparation and difficulty in managing the demands of the role of the people or the role that you found yourself. However, this is also to speak to the human side of leaders. They are fallible and may have off days. I have to bring a balance to that conversation. The speaker stepping in to maintain order shows a collaborative approach, but it also highlights how such moments can the gravitas of governance. Governance is not just a casual endeavor. It requires intellectual rigorous clarity when it comes to communication and strong understanding of the responsibility that is being entrusted to leaders. So the budget as a strategic tool for development just reflects the priorities and directions of government or of the people, and struggling to articulate it, and it's still, as far as I'm concerned, it just still talks about his confidence, especially when we have seen examples of exemplary governance from individuals like Babatunde Fashola, the likes of Kayode Fayemi, Akinwumi Ambode. These governors set a benchmarks for leadership with their vision, with their preparation and delivery. They show that good governance is not only about managing resources, but also about inspiring trust in all this, with those who they are being governed. It's just unfortunate that, I cannot go further, but for a leader with political aspiration that could elevate them to higher national offices, this incident just serves as a wake-up call in terms of clarity, in terms of preparation, in terms of professionalism, which is non-negotiable, if you ask me. So governors should stop all this trying to look for how to manage the situations and saying that no, it's because he doesn't know how to steal. That's the reason why. I don't know if you saw it. Unfortunately, I have to go right now. They've been running commentary. I wish that you can give your 2 cents on it, but you know what? Governance is not just about good intention. It's about ability to deliver promises and inspire the trust of the people. Unfortunately, this is where I draw the curtains of the show. I wish you the very best as we continue to forge ahead. And till I come your way next week, remember to be kind to one another. Bye now.